Hello, hello, my Astro family. This is Lada from astrolada.com, and I decided to finally speak up and say my perspective on the events of 2020. Mercury is finally out of Pisces, it's in Aries. My a bit more straight without fear. My channel has been demonetized already, so nothing to worry about what I say. And this time I'm going to do it a bit more differently. I want you to participate as well. That's why I'm streaming live. I'm horrified of streaming live, but I decided to do it today because I want to hear your feedback, and we're going to try and interpret the astrological influences till the end of the year together, because I'm sure I'm going to miss something. There's so many knowledgeable people that watch me, that watch those shows, that I do those videos, and I would want your input as well. And from time to time, I would go and I would read your comments, and for certain combinations astrological that are coming, and I would say your prognosis as well, your forecast. And maybe in a year or two, we'll come back again to this video, we'll read and we'll watch and we'll say, wow, we did it together as a family, rather than just me preaching. And also today is my birthday. Even though I'm still sick, you can hear me, I'm sniffling. I've been sick for a whole year, on and off every month, and that's why I've been taking time off. Sorry about that. I haven't been doing monthlies all the time and weeklies. I'm just taking this time while Saturn was in my 12th house to, to retreat. But now Saturn just came out on my ascendant, so I'm like, okay, it's my birthday, I have to put myself out there. I have to do something that I'm afraid of, which is going live. And I have to do something that I want to do more of. On your birthday, you always have to do things that you want to be more present in your life. So I'm going live and I'm going to do an astrological forecast with you. And hopefully, I think I'll scare you, then I'll calm you down and give you hope, then I'll scare you again and calm you down and give you hope. So it's a bit of a roller coaster. The year has been crazy. And from time to time, I would look at the comments because I would get too distracted if I constantly look. But, this is how we're going to proceed. So, okay, what a year. Like, we've been talking with astrologers, not only astrologers that I work with on this channel, but all astrologers probably have been. I don't watch other astrologers videos, but I'm sure a lot of my colleagues, they have been talking about this year 2020 for a few years already. If you go and check out 2019 videos, in December we did a marathon. Check out the video I did with Dr. Diana Bakalova. She said the pandemic possible to come, Saturn Pluto conjunction, and we talked. And also my videos 2020 and the video I did with Phillips in 2018 already, when he talked about the collapse of the banking system in 2020 and the start of a new monetary system, which is all going to happen 2020, 2021. These things are coming into place. We predicted those things. I'm fed up of people coming and saying no one predicted the pandemic. Yes, we didn't come and say there is the coronavirus that will come in 2020, but we said there is a possibility of a pandemic, because in 1981, when the last one or two, the last Pluto Saturn there was AIDS pandemic. Before that, there was when another Saturn Pluto conjunction happened, there was the Black Plague that came to Europe. So we said it in 3 videos on our channel, pandemic possible, but we didn't just talk about pandemic is coming, it's for sure. But most of us, if you watch the videos, like even my video from December 2020 says the change of the ruling elite, the end of one ruling elite, the start of a new ruling class that's coming. Because what is most obvious currently in the astrology, except also the financial crisis and the pandemic, we also talked about that in my video Jupiter in Capricorn. I talk about financial crisis. When last time Jupiter was conjunct Pluto, there was a financial crisis. And we astrologers, we're not prophets. We have visions at night. God talks to us and says this will happen. No, we're like analysts in a bank or like, in a stock market. We go and say, okay, this transit is coming. What happened the last time it happened? The same transit happened. Let me check back. And we go back to it and records and we check and we say, okay, this and this happened. It's a possibility it will happen now again. And we have been right on the ball. There was a financial crisis. Me and 3 other astrologers talked about the possible pandemic. But the biggest thing we all talked about, and that we continue, was that 2020, there will be draconian measures that are happening, that are going to limit us, that are going to set, just go and check the videos from December, especially we did them, but that we say that something's going to happen, that the governments are going to have so much tighter regulations and measures. And what is happening currently is unprecedented. It's like the whole world is on lockdown. I can't imagine bigger, tighter measures, And what is showing here is that if you ask me, is there a virus? What I think there is. I'm not sure if it's human made or not. I mean, we humans deserve enough, both either human made or from nature. We've, whatever it is, but it is regulated. It's all happened with the Capricorn, with the conjunction, all the 5 planets in Capricorn, the eclipse that happened in December 26th, and then after that. It got triggered by Mars again when it entered in February and March. So it triggered this whole situation. But the whole thing that you see as an astrologer when you look at is you see, okay, this is regulated. This is not like suddenly surprise out of the blue. No, the governments or people in power were prepared for that. They might have expected it. And currently what is happening is also regulated. And you can say, of course it's regulated. They're closing us down. But because Pluto is part of this whole deal, Pluto, it means something hidden. So Pluto rules the Kabbalah, as we call it nowadays, rules people with hidden power that are invisible forces behind the scene. It's not just some kind of random occurrence that is happening currently. Or, okay, if it is, please forgive me, God, if I'm pointing a finger or something at some invisible cabal or whatever, but it's being used very clever, and it's being used in a way they've prepared, and it's being regulated. And you'd say you're a conspiracy theorist. Yes, I am. I've been studying for 20 years, all of those things. Maybe I've been wearing my tinfoil, and I wear it proudly, and things that I read about and researched 20 years ago are starting to happen now. And so it's not really conspiracy theory, to be honest. It's actual reality, and the astrology shows it. The astrology with so much Capricorn energy that triggered this whole event. This is about not so much the virus. This is about putting new rules. This is about new world order. Capricorn is regulations, new elite, new rules. Capricorn is about tightening the regulations and the power over others. And because Saturn is there, Saturn is control of the governments over people. But because Pluto is there as well, and Capricorn, of course, is governments and control and regulations, Pluto means who is twisting the arm of the governments of Capricorn and Saturn. It's some hidden force. It's someone with more power, with big money. Pluto is big money, hidden power that we don't even know their names. We'll probably never know. Maybe for a few, they have a few faces there that represent them, but usually someone that has been in power for many governments, not just one government. It's not just in the States, it's all over the world. So it's whatever it is, this is some force, some small group of power that is using that to consolidate more power. And because it's in Capricorn, it's very extreme. It's kind of draconic in sense, power. And we talked about 7 months ago, Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, that it's happening currently, that Jupiter-Pluto will redistribute finances, will redistribute wealth around. And I told you, it's in December already, big money shifting hands. And usually it's again, taking it from the poor and giving it more to the ones that already have it at the top. And it's happening currently. Normal people, they will lose properties, they will lose jobs, they will lose. It's again the ones at the bottom that always get shoved and that get the kick with this redistribution. But just to give you a bit of hope, I have a lot of friends that are normal people, that from normal people, they had some savings. They're currently making huge money within the last 2-3 weeks during the first Pluto-Jupiter conjunction, which is the millionaire conjunction. If you're in a situation, opportunities will appear, and I made a specific video how it can affect you personally, but opportunities appeared for 2 or 3 friends, that they can make big wealth, big money through that. Also, if you have some money saved, when properties collapse in the next year or 2, or the price go down, you can buy cheaper. But we're going to see where it's going to be financially better, the situation. So enough of that scary stuff we've been talking. because we'll speak at the end about the Saturn Jupiter conjunction and where the future is heading towards in the next 20 years, and the positive and the negative side of it. And you choose which side to participate in, and there is no judgment, because if you choose one side, you have to experience that side. If you choose the other, it's not even choosing, it's your destiny to go one way or the other. But let's see, the biggest next event that's happening astrologically is that the North Node, Rahu, or we call it Rahu, is going to move into Gemini, and the South Node, Ketu, is going to move into Sagittarius. This happens once every 19 years, 18 years. So the last time Rahu and Ketu moved there, and they stay there till the end of 21. So now from May, from the beginning of May, Rahu and Ketu, the karmic nodes that make the eclipses, and the eclipses create fated events, will be changing signs. And the last time they were there was in 2000, from October 2001, right after 9/11, till the whole 2002. So just looking back what happened, then see what can possibly happen. And it's happening. They have gone still there, but you start feeling an ingress or moving of a planet into another sign about a month or two before. And we are seeing that. I'm going to decipher it for you now. Wherever Rahu goes, this is the head of the dragon, things start to grow there. They start to expand. We get more passionate about those things collectively. You can have more speculative success there. You can have more success for the next year and a half in businesses connected to whatever Rahu is, which is Gemini. So what businesses and endeavors can thrive? Actually, Rahu means sudden jump, like snakes and ladders. Rahu is like a ladder. You don't go in the order, taking all the necessary steps. You take a shortcut. Rahu is like a snake that can make its path very fast up with a shortcut. So suddenly, wherever Rahu goes, you can shoot up. Like Rahu was in Cancer till now, and in the last year and a half, properties prices were off the roof. They've never been so expensive. They jumped almost twice as much as 2008 when the crisis happened with properties. But now Rahu is moving into Gemini. So the property bubble will go down, but Gemini careers, Gemini activities will go up for the next year and a half. So let's think a little bit. And then I'll tell you my opinion, and then I'll read your comments, and we'll see what you more can add as well. So what is Gemini? Gemini is the media, is social media, is YouTube, the internet, Facebook, all of those things to connect information, news, So these things are booming already. You see, we're locked at home. You're already feeling Rahu in Gemini. All we do, we communicate through Zoom, through the internet, through devices, any communication, electronic devices, they're going to be booming. If you invest, if you put money into such kind of devices as well. This is again connectivity, Rahu, in Gemini. My opinion about it is again conspiratorial, all kind of radiation and waves. But again, as I say, there is more powerful energy. It's divine God energy. If you ground yourself daily, if you connect to higher power, no kind of radiation can, will destabilize you. So if you're grounded in spirit, if you're grounded in love and in nature, it's because we had the vision. We did something called like silver method astral projection, and I've never had a vision, and I had it with a colleague of mine. It's amazing. And we saw those radiation waves, and we saw that they could harm people. They are very high vibration. They can harm people, but at the same time, immediately we were given another vision. And I'm so fascinated. I need to tell you because I've never had visions. And I was seeing those things together in like a guided meditation or something. It's a silver method. It's a bit different. And we saw that those waves that were coming from those devices were actually way overpowered by waves coming from the earth, which were neutralizing them, and waves coming from above, from cosmic waves. So it was like an onslaught of above and below waves, but the ones coming from the earth, and actually it's like the waves coming from the cosmos were wakening up the waves from the earth, and the earth was responding, and there were these two energies from above and from below was starting to merge those energies, and it was beautiful because it was totally neutralizing, or how do I say it was, especially if you can tap into those energies, which means stay close to the earth, ground yourself, sit on the ground a little bit, sit on the sun, expose yourself directly to the sun, and you're already in this wave energies. Staying at home all the time, it's the thing that can actually shield you from those energies. Or if you can enter meditative states, so states of joy, because the next thing that we felt, and we said, God, why is this all happening? We were asking, why is this happening? Where is it heading? You know, with all those waves coming, we're creating them on earth. They're coming base and below, but the ones from earth and from above, they felt like very high vibration, rejuvenating, healing ones. But it's very hard for some people to actually tolerate that, and a lot of people might be feeling like they're going a bit cuckoo, because the vibration of those energies was very strong, but it was uplifting what we saw. And if you don't believe in that, I'm, of course, it's just hear it as a story. But what we were shown after that was wave after wave of love. And it was hitting me here, and it was spreading around the whole body. It was body orgasm. I've never had such, it was physical feeling of love and joy. And it was showing me that basically those cosmic thing that is coming from the earth is trying to awaken the ability of human beings to connect to this joy, to connect to this divine love. And I've been, every day since I felt that, I've been able to experience 2 or 3 such waves. And after I experience them, I'm telling you, I don't get angry, I don't get upset, I don't get sad. And it's unbelievable. It's, you stay in a state that you're comforted and you're shielded by negative energies. And it's around me. I've never felt energies before, but everyone can tap into that with very little grounding or with conscious intention to do that. And a lot of those waves are coming now. So people will be waking up like crazy, or people will be experiencing this amazing connection more and more. And even my brother had something like, my brother has always been, he's Pisces, and he's never been into spiritual things. And suddenly for 7 days, my older brother, he went into something like a catatonic state. And we thought he'd get freaked out because of what's happening in the world. He was not talking, just looking in one spot. And he came out of it yesterday. And he's been telling us all day of visions he had. He's been experiencing spiritual fights between demons and angels. And he says, oh, I'm full of, he said it was very dark. It was scary. It was like fight for humanity was happening. And then he says, all I can feel now is love. And he's praying, he's talking about God. He's never believed in God. He's hugging trees. And he says, I don't know, I'm some state of constant nirvana, some state of constant jubilation and joy and love. And a lot of people might be going through that. Even if you feel you're losing your mind, usually first starts happening by depression or psychosis, hallucinations. Very often a fast awakening can be preceded with some battle with dark forces. Everyone might think you're crazy, but that is the signs of awakening. Or depression is just totally disconnected, disinterested in everything. You just, or dark night of the soul. Before spiritual awakening happens, dark night of the soul happens. And that's paranoia, panic, fear. And then for my brother, it happened just a week. For some people, it can prolong over a year. It can prolong a bit longer. And then you come out of this state and you're in much higher vibrational state, and you're constantly connected to a source of joy, or a lot more connected to a source of joy and manifestation and ability to create. And immediately when he came out of that state, a huge multi-million-dollar opportunity came for him. And he says, I manifested it with my mind, and he's never been into manifesting in anything. So I'm telling you, amazing things are happening. For those of you who are, even if you get sucked in the fear, even if you get sucked, and it is collective trauma. We're afraid for our lives. We're afraid for our future. It's okay, because those feelings, they're cathartic. Those feelings, they can awaken, and they always, before you connect to the light, you have to pass through the guardian of the threshold, the threshold, the collective fears, sins of humanity, power, sex, money, desires, all of those things. And they can appear like monsters, they can appear like depression, they can appear as really extreme emotional states. And when you pass through this thick astral layer, then you go to the rarefied astral layer, where the truth is, where the joy is, where the flow is. But you first have to go through this thick stuff. So we're collectively passing through this thick manifestation of our collective fears and monsters. They're manifesting materially, but after that, many people will come on the other side awoke, or at least a bit more. Awakening is not one time process. It's always. Even the archangels and angels can get to the next level, and next level it comes at stages. So now it's a stage. And we were talking about Rahu, Gemini. Sorry, I'm preaching here. In my solar return chart for this birthday, I have the sun in the 9th house, so I'll be like preaching a lot. But I'll give you the word because it's about Rahu in Gemini, about exchange of communication. So what else is going to happen? Invest in communication devices if you're into stock markets. Companies that are businesses that are online, you're seeing who is making money now. Only businesses that deliver, that are online, that connect others. This is Gemini. They will be prospering for the next year and a half. Starting any kind of saying your message online media, becoming like it's not exactly, but having a message. A lot of people will get the passion and the courage to bring out their message. And I predict that there will be alternative medias that appear, because Rahu in ancient astrology is taboo breaker. It breaks the rules, it innovates. It's also known as scientific innovations, or all kind of inventions. So Rahu will create new, according to me, how I interpret it in Gemini, communication media, new sources of media. There will be alternative sources of media. But also because Rahu in Vedic astrology is known as the imposter, the liar, because Rahu pretended to be a god in order to drink the juice of immortality and became God. But he used fraud. So you hear a lot of fake news, a lot of speculative information, a lot of fake information, and it's already ubiquitous. Everyone is someone saying, "Oh, this virus is not true. Oh, this virus is way deadly. Oh, there's lots of speculations." I will advise you any information for the next year and a half, and there will be lots coming from a lot of diverse sources. It will be a constant mind chatter. When Rahu is in Gemini, collectively, our mind is like, and all the time different sources of information and clashing. It's a bit it's going to be exhausting. But yes, there'll be a lot of fraudulent information going around and speculative information. But a lot of people can make big money in the media, in YouTube, in social media. But I imagine there will be other platforms that appear in the next 1 year and a half that will make YouTube and all such, and Facebook may be obsolete. The next level of such softwares are coming to connect the social media. And what's gonna be big is subscriptions. Gemini is something that repeats in small intervals, small but regular. So small piece by piece. So Rahu will make like a lot of subscriptions, services of all sorts that can boom over the next year and a half. But predict as well that a lot people will start reading a lot more, which is Rahu, and they might even invent some new type of. I think Gemini is also connected to television and the media, some kind of different ways of. It's also serious, not serious episodes and stuff like that, but it's already been booming. But I think there'll be some innovation, maybe interactive episodes on TV and stuff. You can choose what to watch, or you can choose where the show's gonna take you, or something like that. Some innovations of this sort will be there. I've taken some notes. Okay, Gemini is local trade. So anything local will start booming. So it will be much harder to do global trading for the next year and a half. You see, global is Sagittarius. Ketu weakens wherever it goes. So Ketu going into Sagittarius will weaken global trade, getting produce from Argentina, but local Gemini in your local community, this will grow. Maybe hopefully local food markets and hopefully local shops, but you know, if they open the shops at all. uh, but you know, it's, and also trading online. People that are selling and buying anything online, they will have big success now. Export goes down, but buying local goes up. Trading, exchanging goes up, but there'll be a lot of speculative trading. Selling of Rahu can be something fake, something that pretends to be something else. So they can say, oh, this project here online, you have to be very careful because a lot of, there are already many such companies around. If you order anything from Facebook, I've ordered 2 weeks. they looked amazing there. My husband was horrified. They looked like a broom on my head. So yes, if you've done the mistake, but there'll be a lot of those that are trying to, you know, that are trying to catch the wave, and fake ones, or pretend to be one thing. But we're used to this already. Let me tell you something more interesting that I think will happen. Okay, I talked about the alternative media platforms. Reinvention of sales, commerce, and marketing. I see this as great possibilities, like the old marketing, Gemini's marketing. Gemini is to put the words to sell something, short messaging, you know, the copy to draw people to buy from you, whatever, marketing, advertising. And Rahu will innovate it. Rahu will make it so clever and trickery to be on the next level. And also, it's, and I think it has to be reinvented. It can't carry on the same way, you know. So people that have businesses in marketing, in advertising, and such things online, especially, I think they can expect growth, and I think they can expect things going strong for them. Anything online, again, as I said. Rahu is also, sorry, not Rahu, Gemini is telecommunication, information, short trips. There'll be a lot more short trips rather than long trips. Gemini, Sagittarius is long trip, international globe trotting. Ketu weakens it. What happens last time it was in Sagittarius? It was October 2001, right after 9/11. And for a year and a half after that, people were not flying so much. Even one of the biggest airline companies bankrupted 2002. So air companies are already bankrupted. You see, we're feeling that from a month ago, and they'll continue to be weakened for a year and a half ahead. And maybe at the end of that process might be good to buy stocks for such companies. I'm not saying there won't be any flying, but it will be more, you know, you see the air flight companies are weakened, global trade is weakened, but local travel, short distance, caravans, trekking, tenting, you know, getting tents, going to the park, something like that, day trips, or state to state driving, that will increase Rahu. And actually you can invest in companies that are about Gemini. Gemini is walking. Gemini is going in, you know, doing treks around, anything like that. In such, if you want to such business to start, it might be a good idea. Anything that is working with the hands is Gemini. And already in Walmart, if you're such a suburban housewife like me, what's happening in Walmart is like the sales of gardening equipment have doubled, and kind of like for DIY, do-it-yourself stuff. And of course, Gemini is to do something with your hands, whether it's gardening, whether it's putting furniture together, whether it's learning a new skill. What I also predict is that people that are teaching skills, especially online, they will have a boom for the next year and a half. Businesses that are about starting something to teach others some skills. Rahu is specific skills, not some theory, or, you know, this is Sagittarius. Sagittarius is like high-minded theory. No, this is skills here. And that's what I'll be doing. I'll teach you astrology with the basic skills rather than the philosophical theory of it, because people won't be so interested about it, which is Sagittarius. For the next year and a half, they'll want practical skills that they can apply immediately. And there will be a boom of people pre-qualifying. Gemini is about learning, teaching skills, but the skills that people will be learning, they won't be pre-qualifying. For example, oh, I'm going to be a doctor now. No, it's more like a hands-on, fast learning apprenticeship skills. How to fix things, how to play piano, how to use software, how to make uh, anything that you like, how to make a website, how to knit, how to drive. Maybe finally I'll get a driving license. I've been talking about that for 5 years now and taking classes. But people become, whatever Rahu is, they become more passionate about that area of life and they throw themselves into it. So you see people throwing themselves in kind of any kind of hands and arts, crafts, and learning new skills and learning new languages. Gemini, Rahu in Gemini is known to make it very easy to learn new languages, even though you'll be staying at home. It's a great time. Pre-qualifying, mastering softwares, acquiring new skills. And also Rahu makes it possible to learn very fast. And it's going to speed up the need to learn very fast. Maybe with millions of people losing their jobs, they'll have to reorient themselves. And this is what is going to be booming in market, such Rahu things, such Rahu skills, such Rahu training. And by the way, let me tell you another side of Gemini, which a lot of people don't know about. Gemini is highly sexualized sign. Actually, its original symbol is a man and a woman, and the man is holding a tool in one hand, which is like a bat or something, and the woman is holding some instrument for like a flute. So again, it shows that Gemini is about using instruments with your hands. So any kind of businesses that's about using any instruments as well can be good. But it's also about mastering skills, but it's also using any tools, but it's also, because the man and the woman, it's about sexual union. And if you've checked horoscopes of one of the biggest philanderers and playboys, they usually have Venus in Gemini. And by the way, Venus will be in Gemini. It's already there and it will be there till July. I imagine people will start feeling highly sexualized till July. I imagine if they remove this ban, and I think the ban will drop by the end of May, because something called Kala Sarpa Yoga, when all the planets are situated on one side of the north and south node, it's happening till the end of May. And that usually means some kind of restriction, and it's started from the end of February. So it's exactly through the quarantine most of us have been having. And this Kala, I think it was February, this Kala Sarpa Yoga in Vedic astrology, where all the planets on one side of the sky after Rahu and Ketu. So there's nothing on one side of Rahu and Ketu, the north and south node, which are always opposite. All the planets on the other side. So it's like they're quarantined, separated from the other side of the sky. So usually person is put in a tight spot, or collectively it's happening for us, kind of something is about limiting us in some way. So it ends at the end of May, and I believe by then almost everywhere there'll be way limited, way less restrictive measures. But then Venus and Rahu, Venus is retrograde, they're both in this sexualized sign of Gemini, and Rahu is highly sexual as well. Rahu is, whatever Rahu touches, it multiplies it, it makes it like a magnifying glass. And Rahu is already highly desirous and addiction prone and insatiable. And Venus is sensual pleasures in the sign of Gemini, which is highly sexualized. And Gemini is not sexual in a sense like, oh, I want to rub my body to yours. It's more like I'm curious, I want to experience something new, I want diversity, something new. It's meant, but it's very sexualized. If you notice, guys, check people with Venus in Gemini or Mars in Gemini, they're flirts. And they might be 90 years old and they'll be flirting with you and, and trying their luck. So you'll notice that people come out of this quarantine, it's like, I won't be surprised to, like they'll get on with, how do I say it? You get my drift. They'll start going at it. There'll be probably a lot of babies born after that. But yeah, the passions will rise, the sexualized passions, and morals go down when Rahu is in Gemini, interestingly enough, because it excuses Gemini's reasoning, and with Rahu expands it even more. You will use facts and things to excuse some behaviors, because moral is Sagittarius and Ketu is there weakening it. It's almost like we've been held on a leash and we'll go like, but it's more like curiosity, trying new stuff. And of course, it's about connecting to your close ones in your environment. Rahu in Gemini, the close one is like relatives, siblings, co-workers, teammates, playmates, rather than with international uh, friends around the world. This is more your local community here that will get to experience more in the next year and a half, becoming part of small blue clubs, book clubs, or online clubs, small group activities. Also, I forecast that a lot of Gemini businesses will be very successful. Gemini businesses is also delivery of stuff, but it is as well working in a small group environment. So you can have more success if you combine together 3 or 4 people and do some project together rather than try to do it alone. And what is happening with Ketu in Rahu, in Sagittarius? I told you that the air business for a year and a half might be quite low. International flight, international trading, and kind of import export, but it's also the church, traditional church. People will lose interest towards that, and there might be weakening of the church. Also, the ruler of Sagittarius till the end of this year is Jupiter. It's really weak in Capricorn, and Ketu goes there. So these industries that the Sagittarius are very weakened, plus the church is very weakened. I don't know, something might happen with the church, like the Catholic or something, that it's transformed in some way, it loses its power. Last time Ketu was in Sagittarius, a huge scandal came out about priests using their power for sexual abuse, and that weakened the Catholic Church a lot. It was in 2002. Also, maybe people can't go to churches now. But another thing that it does is it weakens the ties, and people identifying with traditional religion, which is Sagittarius, but it connects them more to spirituality. Because to the outer, because Sagittarius is like the outer rituals of religion, the pompas, the ceremonies, kiss the bread, whatever, the prayer, do it like. But Ketu is like, I don't care. Ketu is, I don't care. I'm disinterested. I'm not interested in that. Been there, done that energy. And people will kind of start feeling detached. Ketu is detached. And letting go of those traditional ways of religion or traditional outer rituals of religion, maybe they can't do it because we're on lockdown now. And Ketu is extremely spiritual though. So somehow it's very possible, and sources say when Ketu is in Sagittarius, traditional religion suffers, but mystical spiritual experiences go on the rise. And it's almost like Ketu removes the church as a connection to you, to God, and gives you a direct access to higher knowledge. And it happens without conscious willpower. Ketu is something that is unconscious. It doesn't have a head. It's the tail of the dragon. And it comes to you without even making an effort. So again, here we're seeing powerful indication for spiritual, mystical experiences rather than traditional religious type of, experiences. And Sagittarius as well is universities and higher education. That's going to take hit. I think that a lot few people over the next year and a half will go to universities, and you can see universities have closed down. They can't even, there'll be some shift, there'll be the decomposing of the school system or the university system. Sorry, it's not the school system. And it's going to go more about hands-on experience. Rahu in Sagittarius, in Gemini is hands-on, to do something as an apprentice, to try to train with someone, directly taking skills rather than learning theory and going for 4 years. And and so Sagittarius weakens, Rahu goes, so training rather than philosophizing and theory. And university is weakening, and as I said, well, okay, I'm not going to repeat myself. All right, but now let's see some of your suggestions. Please write to me. I'm missing a lot of things for sure. And I want to hear you, and we're going to carry on with the next influence that's coming after that. And of course, I wanted to speak a little bit while you're writing, is that Venus, Rahu in Gemini will also increase the innovations with technologies that are about connecting us and tracking us as well. We're going to speak a little bit after that when we go to the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. But the Rahu-Ketu one, if you have anything to add, plus Venus is going retrograde now in May and in June. We can know how bad the financial crisis is after we watch Venus becoming visible. When Venus becomes invisible now in May for a little bit, it will become visible. It's expected that she will become visible around the 10th of June. If she becomes later than the 10th of June, that indicates bigger and bigger financial crisis ahead, because I can give you an example. The crisis in 2000, this is according to ancient Babylonian astrology. The Venus indicates the markets. Venus indicates the money. And if Venus rises later than expected astronomically, the later it is in 2008, it was 40 days later, not 2, not 3. And what happened 2008, you know. So we're going to watch that, and we're going to tell you for sure with Babylonian astrologers what kind of crisis is expected. If Venus rises on time, there might be actually a relief, because a big economic crisis is expected. We're starting it already. Jupiter, Pluto kickstarted it to redistribute the wealth, but it really hits the fan next year when Jupiter and Saturn square Uranus. The two planets of social change are going to square Uranus in Taurus. Taurus is the planet, the sign of money. Uranus is innovations. There will be a change of financial system, guys. Watch it, it's going to happen. They were going to start this huge change of the economy. The financial system is not going to be the best. It's not going to be the same. So, but we're going to see how bad it's going to hit the normal people by checking Venus when it becomes visible in June. And I'll tell you, okay. All right. Libra ascendant, Rahu is going in the 9th house. Is it still about local? For you, it's different. Whoever has Libra ascendant, for them, everything turns around, you know. So for you, it's not. But I'm talking collectively now. And I'm not going to answer about specific things. I want to hear what you are saying about, do you have to add more about Rahu and Ketu? And because I'm sure more homegrown businesses and farming, yeah, anything that requires skills, anything that requires using of the hands and local. How long will Sagittarius be weakened? Don't worry, if you're Sagittarius, it doesn't mean that all Sagittarius will be weakened. It's only a bad thing, because usually it means that you have to, Rahu gets strengthened, which is the 7th house. So for Sagittarius, it means they have to put themselves second and kind of partner with others, prioritize the needs of others, so combine with others. When I had Rahu transiting my 7th house and transiting through my sign, Ketu was transiting my sign, I wasn't weakened. I became way more successful through partnerships. So it's not necessarily always on a personal level that Ketu transiting Sagittarius, it will weaken all Sagittarius. If anything, it can make them more spiritual, more detached. It can help them much easily let go of things they don't want, because Ketu excretes. Someone says Trump is a Gemini. I might be going for a second run there. And I don't want anyone to tell me I'm a Trumpist or not a Trumpist. I'm nothing. I'm just horrified what's happening with the world and excited, and I'm just watching, and whoever makes the best of it, I will support this person. Whoever God allows to be in power, it's the you know, it should, you know, but I'm not supporting this person as a per se. I'm not affiliated to anyone, and it's like I'm totally impartial. I'm just watching to see what's happening. I'm on a moving delivery business. Is it favoring my situation? I'm a Gemini sign. Yes, you are. You're good. But I don't want to do personal readings here. Any effect on small online clothing store? Online, it can do big. And you just have to think with Rahu in Gemini, new marketing strategies now, because new ones will be developed over the coming months and year, and you have to quickly jump on those and innovate as well. But we continue with what's happening. Rahu in Gemini, what about 5G? I spoke about 5G. Yeah, it's spreading. Rahu is to spread like viral. It's gonna be there, but I was telling you that there's forces from above and below that are neutralizing that. And if you can connect on a daily level with that, we were shown in that vision that it's basically, it's not gonna affect you. But we carry on, or maybe I should leave it for another time. I wanted to speak about Mars, what's gonna happen, because things, there are eclipses and things, and they're not easy eclipses, they're from the Saras cycle that are about instability again, but things come down a little bit. And then September, October, November, we have to tighten our belts again. How about spiritual authentic platforms on social media? Well, anything on social media, but yeah, sorry, I have to think a little bit about that. I think maybe from the end of this year, after this year finishes, for that, we just wait for Jupiter to move out of its Capricorn, of its weakest sign, you know, then it's going to be good for it when Jupiter enters Aquarius with Saturn. But oh, someone says I wrote a letter to YouTube for you. Thank you so much. I will try and apply again on the 22nd. If not, I will create a new channel, guys, and if you come and watch me there. But going back to Mars in Aries, so there are a few possibilities there, because Mars in Aries is extremely powerful, but it's getting scary aspects. It's basically most of September and October, it's holding a square with Saturn and Pluto. And what is Mars? Mars in Aries is war. Mars in Aries is insurgence, is rising. I can imagine looting. I can imagine people are going to get angry and people are going to rise, especially the youth, because Aries is younger people, youthful people, people, and there might be some clashes even with army, with military. And I believe there might be some attacks that happen. I hope not war. I'm not a visionary, but why are people going to get angry? Mars, what are they going to fight with? Saturn and Pluto, because Mars is getting hard aspects to Saturn and Pluto. And what is Saturn? The government. What is Pluto? Control. Pluto is also hidden powers, government, hidden government. So people will rise against the hidden enemy, kind of Pluto and Saturn, and they clash because Pluto is invisible planet as well. But they'll be angry with that, with if especially because Saturn comes back to Capricorn again in the summer, in from July onwards. So they can be, they can try to impose again lockdown. It's very possible, and from the autumn again. And I don't want to scare you, but it's, and in ancient astrology, Mars rules viruses and it's becoming super strong. So it can escalate again. I hope not, but you know, I really hope this is not true. I'm just telling you what are some of the interpretations of those positions. And then, especially if they put people again in lockdown, I can see with this powerful Mars that people are angry, that are standing out, that are resisting, that they don't want to, you know. And that, because what is more powerful, hunger or fear of a virus? And eventually hunger becomes more powerful. And I think that there might be something about taking guns away because of Mars. There can be some, by the end of this Mars in Aries, I think maybe there will be some event that can restrict or take away guns from in America, because Aries, Mars, they rule guns and such kind of things. But again, which is stronger, Mars or Saturn? Will the people be suppressed, or Saturn with Pluto there? Well, obviously there are more planets in Capricorn, so the government and the restrictive measures will be stronger. Jupiter is there, Saturn, Pluto, but there'll be a fight and there'll be a resistance on that. yeah, and there'll be standoff of some sort. And I'm not telling you take one side or the other, you know. uh, I cannot tell you which side to take. Only you know in your heart. You might have to support the government and keep things peaceful, or you might have to be one of those that needs to resist. We all are playing a role. After all, the good, the bad, they're all kind of, we're playing the theater here. And even God appoints, you know, God appointed Lucifer or the Satan and Sora, that he appointed them to get retarded in their development so they can, you know, try to um, create problems for humans so we can develop. So it's all part of the plan, you know, it's kind of like a game. Okay. Uh, and when is hierarchy start losing? This year they're winning too much. Very good question. When Saturn, Jupiter conjoin in Aquarius, there will be, it's already a new elite will be put in place. It's coming, it's technocratic elite, not so much government will be in power anymore, which is Capricorn. It will be much more scientists that come and tell us what to do. It will be much more people like Bill Gates or Tesla or scientists with knowledge that come. But also, if those people are moral, it's fantastic, you know, to have, to not to take decisions through, for humans, not to take decisions through emotions and partial, affiliations, but because based on facts. But how many of those people, technocrats, tech guys, technology scientists, how many are moral? And there will be some very moral ones. There will be some ones that will open our eyes with scientific facts, but there will be some that are using it for other purposes. And I am afraid to tell you, now I'm going to make you sad and then I'm going to make you happy at the end, is that the dark side of Jupiter Pluto conjunct in Aquarius, which will hold for 20 years, starting from the end of the year, is actually AI, artificial intelligence, and trying to integrate, um, uh, what is that called? Like machines into humans, trying to chip, and it will go towards chipping. It's been predicted 2000 years ago. It's been seen over and over by seers, and Aquarius wants to do that, to merge humans with machine, science with human. It's going a little bit Orwellian. It is, and they will try to do that. But this is a Saturnian side. Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and Uranus. It has two rulers. So on one side, they'll try to make a very tightly regulated society. Aquarius rules society. The Saturn side of Aquarius, from the end of 2020, will try to make like a perfect order, world order, where everyone knows their place, where they know where everyone is, when everyone follows the rules of the system, where everyone is connected with some technology into the system and they're trackable. But what happens? Aquarius has another ruler, Uranus. There'll be the outsiders, the outliers that say, no, I'm not going to be chipped. I'm not going to be digitally vaccinated. Or I'm not going to be part of the system. If the system doesn't let me participate, then I'm going to create my own society. So there'll be like splitting of humanity in two branches gradually over the next 20 years. If they impose those, and they're pushing for them, they will come by 2030 to be compulsory everywhere. The peak of the Saturn Jupiter conjunction is 2030. But if depends how fast they press the button for that, it's going in that direction. Yes, the technocratic society. And some people would love it. Some people would love living in that. It will feel safer, it will feel secure, it will feel so much more organized, it will feel like everyone has their place. You'll know here lives a pedophile, here has someone had COVID there, someone this house, you know whoever, every of your neighbors and what they do. Everything will be on the computer. You're connected. You pass by them. Their chip will tell you whatever, and that it will give a lot of peace for a lot of people. It will make them. It will allow them the peace of mind and safety to work on developing other skills, to work on creating stability, abundance, finance, because life doesn't stop, and there'll be a lot of amazing innovations, and it's not wrong to be part of that. You don't have to take up arms and go, and not, this society has to run. But there will be the ones that say, no, I'm not taking those things. I'm going to rebel, which is the Uranian. I'm going to go and do my own things. And they'll be gradually splitting. People start organizing communities over the next 20 years after the Saturn Jupiter conjunction that are independent. There's like the electricity, their internet, everything. They'll try and make it independent from, and maybe they won't be allowed to participate in society. There is this possibility, if you don't have the digital access, you know, you might not be able to make it there, you know, to but there will be, but you know, don't be afraid. It doesn't mean, if you're one of those people who wants to be on the outskirts, who are gonna go and separate from kind of the mainstream society, don't think there will be ones that are totally separated, like, don't bother me, I don't want anything to do with you. But there will be the ones that are intelligent, bright people, very skillful, very, you know, well educated, that will create such communities, and that will make them totally independent, but also they'll take advantage, they'll find a way to take advantage of the system, of the Saturnian regulated, tightly regulated system. Don't think we'll be totally blocked towards, that's it, we'll be put in that computer and that technocratic society, and there is no movement. There will be free choice. God never leaves us without free choice. And Aquarius, after all, is about freedom. And a lot of people will be start creating their own utopic societies. And it will be beautiful, honestly. For there will be communities with like-minded interests and goals that are forming, and that they don't need to be part of the system. They'll create everything themselves, and they'll find ways to interact with the system as well. So don't worry. Also, as I said, we have free will. We cannot be forced to do what we don't want, but a lot of people will willingly want to do it, to follow the Saturnian plan, which is not a bad plan either for some. Some need the security, some need those circumstances. But Aquarius, we're fully entering into the age of Aquarius when Saturn and Jupiter conjoin. It's been dawning for the past 100 years. You know, just like a dawn, it has still 200 years for the constellation of Aquarius to move in. But just like currently, Rahu and Ketu are not yet in Gemini and Sagittarius, but we've been feeling them for a month and a half, almost 2 months. Everything that I talk about, you're seeing it. These are the indications of Rahu and Ketu. The same way, age of Aquarius comes fully in 200 years, but with now it's the proper thing for it, with the Saturn Jupiter conjunction in Aquarius, in the tropical sign of Aquarius. And let me tell you what is us moving from Pisces age for 2,000 years into Aquarius age. Well, Pisces age, it was impossible for humans to be happy, because I'm not saying that Pisces, this is all the meaning of Pisces, but every time when the constellation of Pisces rules the age, every 24,000 years, according to esoteric sources, is when a big karmic payoff happens. And now, basically, for the past because Pisces is the last sign. Pisces is the last sign, which is where karma gets resolved and paid off. It's the sign of liberation, moksha. But as you know, it's very painful paying off karma and releasing the and what we've been doing for the past 2,000 years. After Christ came, Christ said, okay, I'm starting a process when I'm gonna raise the vibration of human of earth, the being Christ, which was 3 years on earth after the baptism. Once on the cross, it spilled and it merged itself and it became the spirit of earth. So the Christ spirit is the spirit of earth currently. It's like a etheric body, astral body of earth. It's the soul of the earth, so to speak. And it's been working for 2,000 years, and it will continue. The Christ will continue for forever till humanity raises. So it's so what's been happening for the age of Pisces, which was also Pisces was the symbol of Christ, is that we've been paying off karma. And it's very hard to be happy when you're paying off karma. It's been very difficult. This was the darkest Kali Yuga age, part of Kali Yuga, where humanity basically had to suffer, everyone, imagine just living 200 years ago. You have 8 kids, 6 of them would die from all kind of diseases. You'd live till 40 and you'd probably die. That was the average age. we shouldn't complain too much. We have it really good, guys. You know, it's been very tough for the last 2000 years. Actually, civilizations before that lived way longer and way healthier. Before you know, before that, 7,000-8,000 years ago. But we're starting up on that hill again, upwards. Life has extended, comforts have extended, but we're entering the age of Aquarius. I keep getting digressed. So we're no longer going to be paying karma. I mean, it doesn't mean we don't have any more, but now it's a lot more positive things will be happening for humanity. Even though it sounds scary right now, don't worry, because a few people with power here trying to move things, even if they have behind them the Dark Lord, whatever it is, even he serves the God, you know, and the power of God and the plan of God is the grand plan. No one can outplan the grand architect. And you've been told in ancient books and in prophecies where the plan is going. They'll be like towards basically kingdom on earth will come, the divine kingdom, God's kingdom will be, in a sense, we will turn this earth into a paradise. But we have to go through a few, you know, to awaken us. How many people are waking up now and saying, oh my God, we've been living a lie, we've been kind of controlled, but still it's improving all the time. Our lives are improving, our life expectancy is improving, our circumstances are improving, and the age of Pisces is finishing basically. And the age of Aquarius, you know what Aquarius is when it starts? It's about psychological health. So people will be working on psychological health, but Aquarius is rewards. You know, the 11th house in astrology ruled by Aquarius is rewards, but mostly it's freedom. Aquarius is freedom. So truly the next 2000 years will be ones where we have the most freedom, where actually we don't actually, God will give us even more freedom, but we have to decide whether to serve God or to serve our own willpower. So what was the age of Pisces had its symbol? It's the, you know, it had its the cross. We were bearing the cross. That was the age of Pisces symbol. The cross, 2000 years bearing our cross, paying off our debts, paying off it's all incarnations were, I mean, bleh. You die at 5 from diphtheria, you die at 30 from old age and whatnot. But the cross was that we're bearing a cross. Even in astrology, the symbol of the cross or esoteric circles is something heavy. And actually the year 2020 is the number 4, and the symbol of number 4 is a cross. So this year we're bearing a cross, we're paying off final kind of karma type of thing. Not personal, collective, we're talking. And that's why what happens, you know, before purification, you get sick and you get, you know, all this kind of scary stuff. But the age of Aquarius has new codes, has a new symbol. The age of Aquarius symbol, it's not working. I have to draw it for you. Can you see that? It's the star, it's a pentagram. It was given 100 years ago, the new codes for the age of Aquarius by the master being Saduno. And it's a pentagram standing upright. And if you've seen Leonardo da Vinci, he would draw inside the pentagram a human being with the hands and the legs. This is humans finally becoming humans. We were in the verge between animal and human till now. In Aquarius is when we become actual humans. Aquarius is one of the signs with a human representing it. And it's a man standing proudly upright. The man coming into his power, man coming into his freedom, man realizing his divinity. But what is happening? You know, some of you might choose, or some people might choose the reverse symbol of the age of Aquarius, which is a pentagram upside down. What is the head of Baphomet? This is a human who is standing upside down, which is you take everything that makes a human human and you basically degrade it. So instead of freedom, you're locked down, you become a slave. And what is, you know, Satanists and such things exist. When they write a pentagram upside down, this is they're trying to basically reverse what the age of Aquarius wants to bring, which is freedom to, and it's not because freedom can turn into chaos. Freedom can turn into, you know, the code of the upright symbol of the pentagram for the age of Aquarius, which starts from the end of 2020, is in fulfilling God's will is the happiness of the human soul. So the human soul fulfilling God's will. And as you see, there is one, the top of the star is pointing up, where this is the highest. You follow the will of God. And of course, the will of God is known through the cosmic rules and laws. Don't harm others. They're out there. And the will of God is, if the ultimate goal of the age of Aquarius is the human being to come into his full power by following the will of God. By consciously, by free will deciding to follow the will, aligning their free will with the will of God. And the I cannot translate it exactly, the code, but it's like, in fulfilling God's will lies the happiness of the human soul. While the upside down pentagram, which is, as you know, especially since the last 100 years, a lot of such societies have been proliferating. They've been in high circles with politicians or celebrities and stuff. It's happening as well. They put what? The star upside down. So there are the two angles rather than one. It's not one will, it's two wills, divine will versus human will. And their slogan is do as you will. So the slogan of the dark side that splits in Aquarius is do as you will. So people, there will be two types of people that will split over the next 2,000 years. I'm doing a way bigger prediction there. The ones will be that do anything they want. Whether you want to rape a child, whatever, whether you want to, they would excuse whatever their own will is. They would not take into consideration any cosmic spiritual laws. And they'll split, they'll start degenerating. It will be almost impossible, you know, at some moment, they won't be even able to reincarnate on Earth, because the vibration of Earth will be too big, because the majorities of people are going in that direction. This is the natural flow of evolution. They're gonna start aligning consciously by desire, willfully their will to the cosmic will of God, which is always for the best of everyone, the most positive, and become humans, true humans. The ones that are following that, do as you will, unfortunately. And sometimes a lot of us are still doing a bit of both, because we still haven't aligned, but we have 2,000 years. But you start seeing the splitting very clearly, two groups of people from the end of this year gradually. And even people that, you know, when you do as you will, you start suffering a lot after a certain point, because karma has, you know, speed up. Even a lot of people who are doing as they will, because they're not doing it with malicious, malevolent, you know, intent. They're just doing it out of ignorance. They would be turned, their star will be turned the right way, because they'll notice that when they align their actions to divine natural laws, they feel much happier, more prosperous and everything. So it will start happening gradually, and we'll start teaching people that. But let me end on one last story for the Saturn conjunct Jupiter. 700 years exactly ago, in 1321, the last high initiates of the Cathars, Guilherme Belibas, was burned. And if you don't know who the Cathars are, the Cathars were the most pure Christians, spiritual group of people. They numbered 50 million at some time in the Middle Ages in Europe, spread all over France, Italy, Bulgaria, Romania, Bosnia, Herzegovina, basically a lot of Europe. And they were the purest, and those dark ages, starting from the 9th century, when they started in the lands of the Balkans, and they moved after that to Europe, from the 9th till the 14th century, for about 4 centuries, they were prospering, and everyone there could read. They could, women had equal rights with men. They could possess. Women were priests there. Everyone had equal rights. They would always feed the hungry. Everything was mutual. They did not have, if you have land, it's for everyone. Everyone was working together. It was utopic society. And by the way, exactly in that period, the earth was having a little climate paradise. age, like a warm age, for about 300-400 years. That's exactly why the Cathars are also called Bogomils, the very pure Christians that lived by the laws of brotherhood, equality, and fraternity, equality, and freedom. This is the Aquarius symbol. 700 years before the age of Aquarius, they created an Aquarius example, how to live basically, and how to be human with rights freely. But they were viciously killed in the last century. Basically, in the 13th, 14th century, they started being persecuted. Millions were killed and burned because they were the truth. They were living how we're gonna start living. There was, and because of that, God to the universe, they raised the vibration of Earth so much that the climate raised, the temperature raised. It was abundant. Everyone was getting so much food. There was enough for everyone in this mini gold age, as they call it. But then the church says, oh, people have too much freedom. It cannot. And they were not allowed, they were not taking money from the people. They were helping the poor. Everyone had rights, something that we only gained back now in the last 100 years, little by little. And women only in the last 50, 60 years. Women were so equal with men. So they were very, the Cathars were pure. They were, and a lot of you that are watching here were out. There were 50 million Cathars and the pure Christians, Albigoys, they were called also. Cathars, Albigoys, Bogomil, different, and basically they started the Renaissance, their ideas. Leonardo da Vinci was one. He was born in the village of Cathars, and they were the freedom of, they were the precursors of these humanistic beliefs of equality, brotherhood, freedom. And what happened when the high initiate, and they all had when you become a high initiate there, they initiate you to seeing the future, the past. There were astrologers as well. They used astrology extensively. They were very humanistic. They were teaching everyone. They wanted everyone to have knowledge. But what happened is that the last initiate, Belibas, high initiate, basically, who is like a master yogi, you'd call him nowadays, so something like that. He made a prophecy. He was the last one that was burned, and he said that the laurel is dying, but the laurel is going to be reborn in 700 years, and the good people will come back to earth. The laurel for them means love in Cathars. They symbolize love and divine love. So he said that they will start being reborn and they will take power again. And these communities that were created 700 years in the perfect utopian image of the perfect Aquarian, solidarity, togetherness, everything is mutual, everyone helps each other, for the poor, it was beautiful. Read a bit about the Cathars. They had the most beautiful societies, way advanced than us, or I mean not technologically, but in philosophically and ideologically. So he said we will come back in 700 years. And my dear friends, I think a lot of us that are watching this, that you're watching astrology, we're those people reincarnated. 700 years from the year 1321 is the year 2021. And we're back, and we're going to create those communities and societies. We're going to bring back equality, brotherhood, and not bring it, we'll create it properly anew. We've lived it once before in those early Christian societies. But we were all killed and persecuted, and don't be afraid now. Don't be afraid, because now is our time, and God will allow us. And it's a time to come back and to create those beautiful society based on love, on brotherhood, on equality, on freedom. And on this beautiful note, I want to end to give you hope. We're back and we're taking over. I love you. And I will see you soon. And by the way, still making till the end of April free 50% off on my courses. If you want to learn with me, if you're stuck at home, if you have any income or money at all, you can basically write. I can give you, sorry, I'm so tired. You can get a discount, 50% of my courses. Also, my teacher, Titimira Borisova, is starting a 50% discount on her readings. Her readings are very exclusive and very expensive, and now she's making them house so she can help as many people as possible. Because as we know, a lot of people are financially restrained. And very soon, I will make a financial prediction a 7-day webinar to what will be the big money-making careers and areas for the next 10 years. I've invited 7 astrologers, but let's all this madness end. Let us calm down, because next year will be the change of finances, the change of financial circumstances of all sorts. And we have to be prepared to know what areas, what businesses are most going to be successful. But for that, more in the future. Okay, now rest at home and prepare, prepare for the amazing times that are ahead, and scary times and amazing and exciting, but no more the same world. I love you.